In this session, we'll be creating 3 new items. But first, let's take a look at what we're trying to achieve. We want to create a gauge with a dial in the center that moves from one side to another. Let's check out the animation and break it down. It's actually quite simple. We just need an arrow, a center, and a dial mark. Let's start with the most challenging part first, the dial mark. Create a new slide and head over to that one so we can get started. Once you're on the new slide, click the Insert tab. This time, instead of selecting a shape, choose Chart. On the left side, find the pie chart category and select Donut Chart. This will serve as the base for our gauge. As you might know, PowerPoint is part of the Microsoft Office suite, meaning it works seamlessly with other tools like Word and Excel. But did you know PowerPoint actually has a built-in version of Excel? And why does that matter to us? Well, with a little creativity, we can use the pie chart to create our gauge. Let me show you how. First, drag down the Excel pop-up window that appears when you insert the chart to make it more visible. Then place it to the side next to your chart so we can work with both at the same time. Then, in column B of the Excel window, change each number to 1. This will ensure that all sections of the pie chart are evenly sized, giving us a balanced starting point for our gauge. Now, highlight column A and column B, then drag both columns down to 100. You can do this quickly by clicking the small plus icon that appears in the bottom right corner of a selected cell and dragging it down. If that feels tricky, you can also manually enter 1 in each cell up to 100. It just takes a little longer. Close the Excel window, then click on all the quarter labels and delete them. You can also delete the sales header to clean up the chart further. Select the donut chart, right-click, and choose Format Data Series. In the Format Data Series panel, go to Fill and select No Fill. Next, find the border option. Click Solid Line and set the color to white. Okay, before moving on, we're going to run into a small issue finishing this inside PowerPoint. The problem is the double ring effect, both an outer and an inner ring, which we don't really want. PowerPoint doesn't provide a direct way to remove the inner ring from a donut chart, so we'll have to think outside the box to fix it. You can actually turn charts and diagrams into vector shapes within PowerPoint. Let me show you how. First, copy the donut chart. Then, create a new slide and go to the Home tab. Click Paste, then select Paste Special. Here, you'll see an option to insert the file as an SVG. Let's go ahead and do that. Now, go to the Graphic Format tab and click Convert to Shape. If you open the selection pane, you'll notice that we now have a grouped object with 101 shape parts, one for each segment of our donut chart. If you select the donut chart and try to use the Merge Shapes function in the Shape Format tab, you'll see that it's grayed out. That's because the shapes are still grouped. So let's ungroup it. Right-click on the shape, go to Group, and select Ungroup. Now, if you try selecting multiple pieces or all of them, you'll notice that you can use the Merge Shapes function. The problem, however, is that none of the options, Union, Combine, Fragment, Intersect, or Subtract, give us the clean result we want. The pieces are overlapping each other, making it difficult to modify them as intended. Originally, I had envisioned adding a circle to both the inner and outer rings, and then using Subtract to cut them out, but that's not going to work as planned. However, I still think that solution can work if we think outside the box. Let's give it a try. Head to the Insert tab and select Oval. Insert the circle in the middle of the gauge and make sure its edges touch the inner ring. Right-click on the circle, select Format Shape, and set the transparency to 100% so it becomes invisible. Then, under Line, select Solid Line, choose the brown color, and increase the width to 10 point to cover the gauge's inner circle. Duplicate the circle, recenter it, and enlarge it until it covers the outer ring of the gauge. This is essentially what we wanted, and the workaround I had in mind is that if we select all elements and save them as a picture, we can then convert it to a vector in another tool. I will show you two different tools for converting our gauge into a vector format, but first, I want to clarify that I'm not sponsored, just a fan. The first tool is vectorizer.io. You might remember this one from a previous session. The reason I wanted to show it again is that it has a neat feature that fits our needs perfectly. We can actually select specific colors and completely remove the brown from the vector transformation, leaving us with a clean shape. It's a little hard to see here, but we are left with the white lines we were looking for. If you followed along, go ahead and download the vector from vectorizer.io. And let's move on to Adobe Photoshop for the second method. This one is simple. Just select the brown background, delete it, and export the image as a vector. That's it. The final result will look something like this. While creating this, I had a long conversation with ChatGPT on the side. The reason I bring that up is to emphasize how valuable AI can be when you run into problems, especially when your first idea doesn't work out, like how we initially tried to use the rings and subtract function to edit our shape. In the future, if you run into an issue, try explaining what you need, what you're trying to do, or what you've done so far to ChatGPT. With a little trial and error, you'll find a solution. Now, let's finish this up. Select all the objects, right-click, and group them together. Don't forget to rename the group to keep things organized. Then delete the two other slides with the rings we started out with. For me, that's slide 3 and slide 4. Back on slide 3, move our newly finished dial mark vector a little to the side. If you didn't create it on your own, don't worry. You can download it from the materials or simply copy it from slide 1. Head to the Insert tab, then select Rectangle. Change its color to white, and if it has any transparency, remove it. Right-click the rectangle and select Edit Points. Drag the 2 points on the left side slightly downward to taper the shape, making it look more like a needle for our gauge. Lastly, insert a simple circle, color it white, and place it in the center where the arrow would pivot. Don't forget to rename both elements in the selection pane. Go ahead and delete slide 1 to keep things clean. For consistency, drag slide 2 up to become slide 1, so our creation stays in order. In the next session, we will animate the gauge and bring it to life.